And a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you into another weekly edition of Giles County High School football with our Bobcat Coaches Show, presented all season long by the fine folks at Leadership Logistics, LLC. Sitting in the saddle tonight, I'm Wade Neely. Our fearless leader, Mr. Chris Bledsoe, he's with us in heart, with us in spirit. He's not with us tonight, however. He would normally be here. He's out at the Here's the Beef Festival, getting his gospel night on tonight, celebrating. And Chris will rejoin us coming up on Friday. A lot to get into tonight. We're going to hear from Bobcats head coach David O'Connor. We've also got Chase Card, WT Eddie in the house tonight. We'll also hear from the legend himself. It's been a long time coming, folks. And I'm not referring to Jeff Bain. I'm referring to Mr. Coach Kirk. John Kirk's going to join us coming up a little bit later. Years of wisdom on display coming up throughout the night and throughout the hour. We're excited to be coming to you live at upstairs at Venue 220 here at Kitchen 218. Still kind of ironing out a few things, but we're delighted as always that Jake Pfeiffer and the guys here at Kitchen 218 are hosting us each and every single week. Again, this is the Bobcat Football Coaches Show. We are presented each and every single week by Leadership Logistics, LLC. When we come back, we'll talk about last week's victory. Bobcats get a huge one at home versus Grundy County, 51-20. Take care of business, pick up their first region win, and the Bobcats have another big tilt coming up this Friday when they hit the road, travel to Winchester to take on Franklin County. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun evening as we talk all things Bobcat football here on the Pulaski Citizen Live Coaches Show, presented by the fine folks at Leadership Logistics, LLC. We'll be right back after this.
Guidance is valuable. We are experienced professionals providing fresh eyes and proven approaches geared to show you how to achieve your personal and professional goals. Regardless of your goals, success does not just happen. It is a byproduct of the people you surround yourself with and the guidance that is given to you. Successful strategies are not found in silos. They are found within professional networks. We can help you. Leadership Logistics, LLC is an agency of elite professionals that have come together for one purpose: to help enhance someone great to become greater.
Jeff Bain is the founder and general manager of Leadership Logistics, LLC. For more information, please visit their website at leadershiplogisticsllc.com.
Citizen Media is everywhere. Get daily news, sports, and obituary updates in the Pulaski Citizen e-edition at pulaskicitizen.com. Pulaski Citizen Live offers video and audio streaming of local sports, local meetings, and community events. Pulaski Citizen Social lets you know when and where the next event or update can be found. Love to hold that paper in your hand? The same Pulaski Citizen newspaper that's been printed since 1854 is available each week by subscription or on newsstands throughout Giles County. Tell your story with Citizen Media.
Pulaski Citizen Live is doing Giles County sports and community events like they've never been done before. Video of local government meetings and community events, as well as streaming of high school, middle school, and youth league games. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, and more are all on the PCL schedule throughout the year. Get your game called by the most recognized sports announcers in Giles County. So are you looking for your next meeting, event, or game? Make sure you tune in to Pulaski Citizen Live on YouTube and on the Mixler app. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening and watching the Bobcat Coaches Show, presented as always by the fine folks at Leadership Logistics, LLC. Wade Neely, glad to be with you. We're live at Kitchen 218. We're upstairs at Venue 220, where in August we had our special election night coverage. We're going to be partnering with the fine folks at 218 a little bit more, and we'll reveal a little bit more about coming up at the November 8 elections. We'll make sure to fill you guys in on that. But that's all part of what we've got going on here at Pulaski Citizen Live. We're so glad to be with you. Breaking things down, Giles County gets a big win last week versus Grundy County. I mentioned it before we went to break. 51-20. The Cats take care of business versus the Yellow Jackets. That was a region game. It was the region opener for Giles County last week. They take care of business. Cats put up 30 points in the first quarter. The game was delayed by about half an hour. There was lightning in the area, so we kicked off a little bit after 7 o'clock. But when the Cats came out, they came out with a vengeance. Took off on the opening kick, marched right down the field in just 4 or 5 plays, capping it off with a big touchdown run. First of 3 touchdown runs, in fact, on the night for talented junior rusher Exorion Randolph. X-Man goes in for 3 TDs. After scoring 4 touchdowns in the first game, he's now got 7 total on the season. He's running extremely hard for Giles County, finishing with about 125 yards on the ground. Again, the Cats run up 30 points in the very first quarter and really showed no signs of slowing things down, as the only blemish on the scoreboard in the first half for Giles County came after a lengthy special teams return. We'll talk more about that special teams play with one of our special teams players of the week who is in the house tonight. Stay tuned, folks. We call that a teaser in the biz. 44-6, though, the Cats lead at halftime. Game is pretty much over at that point. Kind of looking at a running clock situation. Starters are getting removed in short order for Giles County. Grundy County comes out. They put a quick touchdown on the board. Giles County gets back. Saw some action from 3 quarterbacks last week for Giles County. You had Reed Owens drawing the start. You had Kamari Turner getting there. He fires 2 touchdown passes. And then you saw Maddox Good, who comes in the mop-up duty, throwing a late TD pass to Mr. Beats there. So Marcus Beats getting his first touchdown as a Bobcat. Also saw DJ Gardner get his first touchdown last week as a Bobcat, at least in the 22 season here for Giles County. 51-20, defense playing extremely well. After a tough loss in week 2 to Nolensville, the Cats bounce back in extreme fashion, taking care of business versus the Yellow Jackets. And that was a satisfying win for Giles County. And most importantly, as we'll hear from Bobcats head coach David O'Connor in just a moment, big region win. Cats go to 1-0 in region play. They're now sitting there at 2-1 overall. But still to come, got a big game versus Franklin County. And we'll tap into that and a whole lot more. Scoring breakdown and all of that is brought to you as part of your Bobcat Coaches Show each and every single Wednesday night here live from Kitchen 218. Brought to you all season long by the fine folks at Leadership Logistics. When we come back, we'll recap Grundy County with the head man himself. David O'Connor will sit down with us, and we will break down all things Bobcats on the other side of this timeout right here on Pulaski Citizen Live.
It's an agency that helps companies enhance their brand while growing their business, as well as providing career development for young professionals. Whether it is a project or a career, professional guidance is valuable. We are experienced professionals providing fresh eyes and proven approaches geared to show you how to achieve your personal and professional goals. Regardless of your goals, success does not just happen. It is a byproduct of the people you surround yourself with and the guidance that is given to you. Successful strategies are not found in silos. They are found within professional networks. We can help you. Leadership Logistics, LLC is an agency of elite professionals that have come together for one purpose, to help enhance someone great to become greater.
Jeff Bain is the founder and general manager of Leadership Logistics, LLC. For more information, please visit their website at leadershiplogisticsllc.com.
Pulaski Citizen Live is doing Giles County sports and community events like they've never been done before. Video of local government meetings and community events, as well as streaming of high school, middle school, and youth league games. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, and more are all on the PCL schedule throughout the year. Get your game called by the most recognized sports announcers in Giles County. So are you looking for your next meeting, event, or game? Make sure you tune in to Pulaski Citizen Live on YouTube and on the Mixler app. Coming back here on the Pulaski Citizen Live Bobcat Coaches Show. We're presented all season long by the fine folks at Leadership Logistics, LLC. I'm Wade Neely. He is Bobcats head coach David O'Connor. Coach, good to be with you. We're upstairs, and a couple months ago we were set to have an event up here, and they said, sorry, folks, the air conditioning is not working. But we're proud to report, though, that the AC is pumping, and we feel pretty good up here. How you doing, my man?
Doing well, doing well. It's really nice. It's a great venue, a lot quieter up here. I can actually hear what you guys are saying a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't reveal that till maybe week 2 of our coaches show. You said, I'm not going to lie, Chris asked me a couple questions. I had no idea what he even asked me. I just kind of tried to go with the flow.
Well, actually, the first week it was kind of quiet, but that second week it got really loud down because we had, I guess, just more people came, and it was loud in there, and I couldn't hear. So I was answering questions, or actually I was just saying what I thought I needed to say that people may want to hear.
Well, and because we're not only award-winning journalists, but because we're also kind and compassionate, we kind of just let you go with the flow. You were on a roll. We didn't want to stop you, brother.
Nobody ever said anything, so I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I think it flowed well. Hey, speaking of flowing well, what can you tell us about last week? Cats come out. They put up 51 points. Huge win versus Grundy County. Yeah, we give up 20. I know the defense coordinator, Tanner Holly, probably not too happy with that, but overall a sound performance last week by Giles County.
So I thought we came out and we played aggressive. We really got after it early. We had one series that we didn't score early. We carried the ball down and turned it over at the goal line. I think X or Reed, something happened there on that. Other than that, I thought we got after them really well offensively, and we did defensively as well. I think they returned a long kickoff at some point as Coach Hickman started rolling in a few younger guys on some of those roles and letting them go down and cover. They returned a long kickoff. They got their first score that way. And their next scores, was stood their varsity against our younger guys. And I thought our young guys did well holding their own against those guys. And we even drove down with Maddox Goo throwing his first career touchdown pass against their varsity. So I was really proud of that.
Yeah, he looked good. And believe it or not, a couple folks in the community said, man, who's this third-string QB for Giles County? Looking pretty sharp. One thing you and I had discussed last week was where were the Cats mentally? Tough, deflating loss versus Nolensville. Kind of with all due respect, much easier opponent versus Grundy County. And you were a little nervous about the week of practice last week when we talked, but you guys came out and took care of business from start to finish, right?
We did. We did not have as good a week of practice as I'd like to have had. I feel like we've had a decent week of practice this week. But boy, we have a big time opponent coming in that we're going to this week over to Franklin County. It's going to be a big challenge for us. They probably have the best football team that they've had in the last 20 years or so. They got some really good athletes. They've got some extreme speed out on the field, and we saw some of it last year. But I think they're doing a little better job. Their coaching staff is doing a little better job of putting that on display. They're letting those guys make plays out on the field, and it shows well at this point.
Yeah, the way the schedule breaks, you guys have the 5A Lincoln County. We get the win there. We fall at Nolensville, and then we drop to 3A, which is obviously the class we're in, and then we jump right back up to 5A. No rest for the weary in terms of scheduling. Let's real quickly go back to last week, though, especially in your quarterback play. We do see Reed Owens get the start. What prompted that, or what can you tell us? Because both saw time, and all three quarterbacks really looked good throughout the night.
I feel like we've got three solid quarterbacks. I feel like that Kamari's done some things to kind of push himself up just a little to the front, and a lot of that comes in 14 games or 13 games last year, which gives him a big time advantage. I think Reed does really good things, but right now, just defensively, we need him defensively as much as we need anybody offensively, because he plays in a position that we really don't have anybody else for. So. But he got playing time last week because against Nolensville, KT or Kamari got banged up a little bit. Had a tough week to be able to practice. He got his quad was hurt, so he wasn't able to really get through practice good until probably about Thursday.
And it was, I guess, obviously a good thing that Owens gets those game reps now. I mean, for folks that have been following the team all offseason, he's kind of been running with that first unit. But you never really know what you're going to get till you're truly out there in a game, and it was good to see him. Had a few miscues here and there, but by and large, I think made some big plays, which has obviously got to be good for your depth, if nothing else.
No doubt. He comes right out in the very first series, and we were like clockwork working the ball straight down the field to score. Looked really good, and he did a good job of managing the offense So he went the first 2 series. KT came back in for 2 series, and then we went with and we were trying to work a couple different things. We were working normal offense with Reed, and we brought Kamari in. We tried to run a little bit of pace where we try to move that ball, snap it quick before the other defense even gets set. So.
One thing, talking with Bobcats head coach David O'Connor, you're listening and watching the Bobcat Coaches Show presented all season long by the fine folks at Leadership Logistics LLC. Coach, I want to ask you, how was it important, and if so, how important was it to see X-Man, Exorion, get back in a groove last week? He was a little limited versus Nolensville, but he had 3 touchdowns and over 100 last week.
Yeah, he bounced back pretty quick, but just like Kamara, he was one of those guys that got beat up in the Nolensville game, so he was still hurting a little bit last week. I'm expecting to see a little bit more X-Randolph this week, him and Kamari, and what they normally are able to do offensively.
Switching gears into the receiving core now. You and I just off air, we're talking about we were so proud and excited to see Ethan Earhart. We call him Tonto. Kamari's first touchdown pass of the night. Earhart, with all due respect to Kamari, he did a lot of that touchdown right there. How important, how critical is it to see those receivers develop with Earhart kind of emerging as maybe that first or second option?
Well, that's right. Ethan is a guy that didn't get to play a lot last year due to the transfer rules. He's really probably our number one receiver. He is the guy that we expect and will always run the routes right, do things good. So between he and DJ is the 1 and 2. They're pretty close, and then but we're really going to need him to step up and make a lot of plays for us from here forward.
And kind of Chris and I mentioned it on the broadcast. We've seen Ethan make some great possession type grabs, but it was nice to see him catch one out in some space and kind of turn on the jets. We haven't really seen that explosive passing yet from the Bobcats, but we saw a couple nice ones the other night.
A couple of really nice passes. First of all, that one to Tonto, he did a really good job of moving in space and finding an open window to give Kamari a spot to throw the ball. Kamari throws it. He catches the ball and runs about 65. Tonto showed a little bit of that Jim Thorpe type speed.
Yeah.
And then KT threw a really nice back end zone corner ball to DJ as he toe tapped out of the back of the end zone for a touchdown. 2 really nice balls. We got to be able to throw the ball some to keep them off the run because we're going to be able to run the ball as we move forward, I feel.
Yeah, as we'll bring you back in a moment to talk a little bit about your defense, or excuse me, the preview for Franklin County. But real quick, Tanner's not here tonight, defensive coordinator. Did you razz him too much about the 20 burger that Grundy County put up? I know it was against a lot of it against the backups.
No, I didn't. He was also trying. We were trying to play a bunch of different people, doing a lot of different things, and we had been working all week on actually some other type game plan stuff. So it was one of those weeks that we knew that we had a chance to win. If we go out and do what we're supposed to do, and our kids knew that, and I thought they did a really good job handling their business on game night. Talk
to us a little bit about your defensive line. Seems like those kids like Punal, Randolph, and then even throw in obviously Jesse Murray and some others. They've kind of been dominating all year, and then we saw some of the linebackers kind of emerging for you guys last week at Well.
Well, that's right. Well. I think our defensive line has done a really good job of leading us all season. Corey Punal, I guess, is the leader of the front. He and Omar Randolph, and then Jesse Murray and Elijah Phillips. As a matter of fact, I think Elijah Phillips is our leading tackler on the year from his defensive end spot. So those guys are really getting after it. Hey, but last week I think was a really big week, and it was Jack's first start at linebacker. We're really fortunate to get him out there and playing some good ball. Jack is just a little undersized at this point. He's still just a sophomore. He's going to have – his best football is still to come. We got to get a little weight on him, let him continue to get stronger, but he's going to be really good.
Yeah, you're talking about Jack Stafford. You also got Caleb Oates, that sophomore, and you're right, Elijah Phillips, your 3 leading tacklers. And this is a defense, Coach, that we were curious how the depth and how the youngsters would come in and kind of emerge. And it seems like those younger guys are really taking care of business for you right now.
Yes, they are. Those two, Caleb, for sure, Caleb Oates and because he started at linebacker all year. This was Jack's first real start. Now, he plays a lot of linebacker. This was his first start, and he went out and led us in tackles and probably would have been our defensive MVP from the other night if we'd have named one.
Let's real quickly talk, and we'll let you get out of here, and we'll bring in the legend, Coach Kirk, here. How would you grade your secondary? And we do got to hand out a special teams award later. Talk to us about those 2 elements, if you would. I
feel like our secondary is continuing to improve. I thought we had a really good night until we got tired up at Nolensville. I don't think I'm not sure if last week we ever had a chance to really have to defend much pass. I didn't feel like they did a very good job up front protecting long enough to get the pass out. But I think we're continuing to improve in the secondary. Those three guys that play in the secondary do a really good job. DJ Gardner at the safety spot. Tyreek Brown is a great cover corner, as well as Trayvon Dangerfield on the other side. Those three guys are just really good defensive players. They all, not only they play good man coverage, they also do a really good job of rallying back to the ball and making tackles.
Yeah, and sometimes, as Tanner's fond of saying, the best secondary is a good defensive line. It seems like you're relying on that right now.
And we can't forget our two outside linebackers, strong safety types, both Reed Owens and Mr. Ballantyne, Trey Ballantyne on the other side, T-ball we call him. Those guys really tie the whole defense together. So, I mean, we've got a really good defense when we keep them all out there on the field. I guess the key is keeping our guys fresh enough that they're able to go.
Yeah, and since you mentioned Ballantyne, it seems like in the last 2 weeks, which makes sense that he's more in that hybrid kind of a linebacker role, but we've seen him come hot off the edge a few times. We called it a safety blitz a couple weeks ago.
That's
but
right.
Seems like you're getting more and more aggressive, bringing some extra pressure.
That's right. He's more like what they would call a hybrid, a nickel position star type defensive back, and he brings it hard off the edge. He's really good at what he does. So.
Speaking of tackling, and I did want to get into special teams, there was one play last week where there was a kickoff and things got a little squirrely. And most teams, you're thinking, all right, it's one-on-one with the kicker. You may not like your chances too much here, but you got Chase Carden back here, and he, instead of going for the tackle, he kind of went for the big hit, and video evidence would tell you that runner was down, some would say.
No doubt. He was definitely down. I
think the referees missed a call.
Chase decided what he wanted to do. He was going to make a highlight reel tackle. He was going to come up and try to knock him completely off his feet, and somehow he knocked him so hard that he landed on top of him. However, the guy's knee did get down as he rolled over and got up. But the officials saw it a different way, let that guy go. But, credit to Chase coming up and throwing himself at him. I was kind of excited about that. I wasn't sure if Chase really wanted to do that or not, but he did.
He did, and he represented well. We'll hear from Chase coming up in just a matter of minutes. Coach, we're going to let you hand the mic off to do you want to – is there anything I should know about Coach Kirk? I haven't interviewed this young man in a few years back.
Well, he's not the legend anymore. He's more of a wizard. So when you – refer to him from now on as John the Wizard Kirk.
And you'll get a good look at it. So, Coach OC, thank you for your time. We'll see you on the flip side here. Talk Franklin County coming up in a minute. As Giles County does get a big win last week. Again, it was 51-20 versus Grundy County. Bobcats are 1-0 in the region. They're 2-1 overall. And on the other side of this timeout, we'll hear from the Wizard, as he's referred to as, John Kirk, a legendary high school and professional football coach, going to join us. We'll talk all things offensive line coming up here in just a matter of moments. As you are listening and watching the Bobcat Football Coaches Show, presented each and every single week by Leadership Logistics, LLC.
Leadership Logistics LLC is an agency that helps companies enhance their brand while growing their business, as well as providing career development for young professionals. Whether it is a project or a career, professional guidance is valuable. We are experienced professionals providing fresh eyes and proven approaches geared to show you how to achieve your personal and professional goals. Regardless of your goals, success does not just happen. It is a byproduct of the people you surround yourself with and the guidance that is given to you. Successful strategies are not found in silos. They are found within professional networks. We can help you. Leadership Logistics LLC is an agency of elite professionals that have come together for one purpose: to help enhance someone great to become greater.
Jeff Bain is the founder and general manager of Leadership Logistics LLC. For more information, please visit their website at leadershiplogisticsllc.com.
Pulaski Citizen Live is doing Giles County sports and community events like they've never been done before. Video of local government meetings and community events, as well as streaming of high school, middle school, and youth league games. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, and more are all on the PCL schedule throughout the year. Get your game called by the most recognized sports announcers in Giles County. So are you looking for your next meeting, event, or game? Make sure you tune in to Pulaski Citizen Live on YouTube and on the Mixler app. Just like that, we're back. We're coming to you live inside Kitchen 218. We're in the upstairs, venue 220 here tonight. Still smoothing out a few things. We hope to have some folks upstairs joining us and celebrating. We do have some folks downstairs, however, that are tuned in on our Pulaski Citizen Live YouTube page. And as we welcome in offensive line coach, he's known affectionately in Bobcat circles at least as the Wizard, and he is John Kirk. And Coach Kirk, I guess I'll have to ask you this. Do you even know what YouTube is at this point?
Oh, yeah. I've had people tell me about it.
Okay.
You know?
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted –
I do watch a few videos.
Okay, we're just doing a quick little baseline test here, and I had to ask Coach O'Connor that a few times before in my heyday, so you're not the first nor the last. But, Coach Kirk, we're delighted to have you here, and you and I have been long buddies. You've obviously got some ties, helped coach on the Richland staff, were the head coach there for a year, and we obviously were kind of delighted in Bobcat country to kind of steal you back. You kind of fled like Coach O'Connor did south back of the border a little bit to Alabama, and you've kind of been bouncing around, but we're excited. How has your 2022 season gotten off to a start? Kind of how would you grade your offensive line thus far?
Well, we're still a work in progress, but that's probably true all year long. We hope that we are not playing the best football we could possibly play right now. We hope we're improving every week. And I think we are. We had a little setback against Nolensville, but they had a lot to do with that. They had some really good guys up front that put a lot of pressure on us. And but then I felt like our kids bounced back last week, and we had not a great week of practice, but this week I think we stepped it up a little bit. In fact, today I felt like the last half of practice today was maybe the best we've done all week long. And really that's what you're hoping is that we peak on Friday night. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be peaking on Monday afternoon. You really want to be ready to go. But it gives me the ability to sleep well at night if I know that all week long we look like we've got some idea what we're doing and not just stumbling around in the dark.
Absolutely. And Coach Kirk, as we talk about your offensive line, it is good to hear that they are kind of building, continue to and maybe trend in the right direction. And last week, if I'm not mistaken, we're without the services of one of our arguably maybe our best offensive lineman. Leighton Kincaid was very limited, if he even went at all in that game. And who are some young men that kind of have helped? It seems like the team as a whole this is the identity thus far. We're trying to find some new folks to replace some quality people from a year ago, and just kind of maybe speak to that depth if you could.
Well, we had a couple of guys, Amari Smith and Leighton Kincaid, missed a day or two of practice, but they were able to come back and play in a limited fashion. We didn't start either one of them, and I think both of them got kind of winded before the night was over. And the good thing was we were able to kind of patch around. And, we had Caden Reinhardt got a lot of work, just a sophomore, got an awful lot of work. And we'd worked, the guy that had been our tight end, Curtis Cooper, has been working at tight end, and we worked him a lot during the week as a spare tackle. And so we actually had to start the game with him at offensive tackle. A little different world, even though you line up next to, as a tight end, you line up next to a tackle all the time. But it's all of a sudden when you take that move inside, it's a different world in there. And I thought he did really a pretty good job. And then when Amari was able to come back, then we could move Cooper back out to tight end. So he got some time at both spots. So
we've kind of broken down the two tackles, and we talked about the guards. I want to ask you also, what does Justin Birdsong at that center position bring for you guys?
It brings experience because he wound up being our starter most of the time last year, and we won 12 ball games, I guess, with him at center. And he's consistent with his shotgun snap. he's able to get the ball back there where it's supposed to be. And anytime you go to the shotgun, I watch some games on the weekend like everybody else, and sometimes I see that ball going everywhere. And as an offensive line coach, you kind of take a deep breath and say, "Oh my!" And and as OC calling plays, he wants it back there, and I do too, and all of us do. And Justin's done a good job with that. Consistency is the best thing he brings to us.
And I suppose if you want a position to be consistent, the center right there, and obviously anchoring your offensive line, seems like that's the best spot to have that consistency.
Right, and and we've got, of course, Kincaid plays one guard, and Javion Dudley plays the other guard, and has started every game for us. And so, that if we can get the middle anchored down, and our blocking schemes, hopefully we can cover up some deficiencies, and when we go up against somebody that's really strong in a certain spot, then we've got ways that hopefully we can cover that up. And so those three guys are key for us, and then of course our two tackles. That Aiden Hill has done a really good job. He was primarily a defensive player, and he's done a terrific job playing at right tackle. And he still has to go over and play some defense at times. And but as a senior, he's done a great job. And then Amari Smith is a returner from last year. We flipped him over. He was a right tackle primarily last year, and we moved him over to left tackle. And Amari is also having to go over, and you called his name on the other side as well. Just a good athlete, and in high school, those good athletes sometimes have to play both ways.
Ain't no doubt. And speaking of Amari Smith, I got to ask you, this is just something that's kind of just – I'm not going to say it's bugged me. I want to ask you, though. We got Amari Smith. Does it weird you out a little bit, him playing that left tackle and wearing number 54? Should he not – it just feels like at left tackle you kind of have that reserved for like a 72 or 77 rather almost. It kind of just – it doesn't bug me. I just wonder if it gets under your skin as an old-school offensive line guy a little bit. Because to me it seems like, hey, I'm a little younger, a little sleeker, but like, no, big dog, you're the solid left tackle there.
No, truthfully, it doesn't. Numbers don't really bother me that much. Now, if he came in and said, "Coach, I really feel like I need a single-digit number," and I feel like I'd be a great receiver.
Yep.
And I want to play quarterback, then I might be a little concerned. But as long as it's it's a lineman number, it doesn't bother me.
Well,
I've got a left guard, Reinhardt and Yogi. They've got 70 numbers on them. Let the kids wear what they want as long as it's the right ones.
Absolutely. I tried to get a little animation out of him there, Coach O'Connor. So,
as an Alabama guy, growing up in Alabama, 54, and I'm an Alabama graduate. 54 is always one of those numbers that, you want that. For old timers, that guys like Leroy Jordan and people like that, that was a number in Alabama. Now, Giles County, I couldn't tell you other than Amari who has worn 54 in the past.
I'm scratching my head here a little bit too, but maybe he's going to be a trendsetter in that regard.
That's what I'm hoping he'll be. I'm hoping there'll be some young kids sitting up in the stands, and they want, after next year, after he graduates, they'll be fighting. I want to be 54.
Absolutely.
I want to be wearing Amari's jersey in the past or in the future, and and that's means he's done a good job, and represented the school well. And the good thing is that's way down the road.
Yes.
As far as we're looking at, we want. I want him to play great on every Friday night, and the rest of this year, and then we'll worry about next year when next year rolls around.
We'll see what happens. Hey, real quickly, Coach Kirk, before we let you get out of here, you did mention some younger kids, kind of maybe idolizing Amari and, growing that tradition. But I do want to ask you, talk to us about the second half from last week because we've talked about some younger kids getting in there. Who were some guys that stood out to you along the line in the second half last week?
Well, we did have to, play some of our older guys because we really don't have a lot of young offensive and really defensive linemen as well. We've got a lot of skilled people that are in that younger class. But so as a result, we went back with Cooper at one tackle, and then we wound up playing Dudley, in there, and we had Card Reinhardt played the left guard. Ashton Caldwell was our right tackle, and he's been
6'2", 285, Ashton Caldwell.
He's been working, most of the season on defense. But he's another one that, somewhere before he leaves, there'll be a lot of people talking about him, whether it's on the offensive side or the defensive side as well. And so, we feel, Dalton Malone. I was
also a freshman,
Also a freshman, and so we would like to, hopefully we'll have more kids coming out, in the future that, being an offensive or a defensive lineman, it's tough duty. It's a hard job sometimes, but, it's one of those things that, it's so rewarding when you see a guy like X run into the end zone and hey, I had a part in that. I helped get him there. Or when that quarterback is able to sit back there and we can watch it on film and there's nobody even gets close enough to get a whiff of him, that we can protect well enough. And as an offensive lineman and as an offensive line coach, I love that sort of thing. And they love it. They really enjoy it when they can look at it on film and say, hey, great pocket, great block. And, there's as much a part, an offensive lineman, you call everybody else's name. And I tell them, man, nobody knows who you are except Mama. They know what you're doing right there, and I know what you're doing. And all the coaches know what you're doing. But hey, y'all are just like that guy that puts it in the end zone.
And let the record show, Chris Bledsoe and I, we try and do our best to give the big hog mollies a little love, man. Come on now. But, you're exactly right. It is a thankless job at times, for sure.
It is, but, hey, it's one of those necessary jobs.
Yep.
And it's just, we try to sell them on the fact that, nobody's job is more important than anybody else. And it is a team. It's the ultimate team game. And, that's what I try to sell them on every year, that, hey, that's what our job is, and we're just going to get better at it every day.
Absolutely. Coach Kirk, thank you so much for your time. As always, we look forward to a lot of clean pockets and a lot of finished blocks on Friday night. We got a tough opponent on the road at Franklin County, like you've mentioned, and it's going to start with that Bobcat offensive line trying to maybe set the tone, it sounds like, on Friday.
Right, and they do a lot of movement. They run a lot of stunts with their linebackers, blitzes with their linebackers, stunts with their front people, and it's it's going to be a challenge. They're very aggressive up front and with their linebackers, and but we feel like we've got a good plan for them, and it'll be one of those things. If we do our job, on Friday night, then it'll all turn out good.
We love to hear it. Coach Kirk, thank you as always for your time, my friend. We'll see you on Friday night.
All right.
John Kirk, ladies and gentlemen, I got to think making his YouTube debut for sure, but he's certainly making his Bobcat Coaches Show debut. He's the legend, folks, as we're so delighted to have Coach Kirk in the saddle here with us tonight. We're going to take a quick timeout. During this timeout, we're going to play a quick game of paper, rock, scissors, and we're going to see which one of our two special teams or scout teams winners will come up and join us, as then we'll hear from the big man one more time. Bobcats head coach David O'Connor will join us to close it out. We'll be right back after this as as you are listening and watching the Bobcat Coaches Show, presented each and every single week by Leadership Logistics, LLC.
Leadership Logistics LLC is an agency that helps companies enhance their brand while growing their business, as well as providing career development for young professionals. Whether it is a project or a career, professional guidance is valuable. We are experienced professionals providing fresh eyes and proven approaches geared to show you how to achieve your personal and professional goals. Regardless of your goals, success does not just happen. It is a byproduct of the people you surround yourself with and the guidance that is given to you. Successful strategies are not found in silos. They are found within professional networks. We can help you. Leadership Logistics LLC is an agency of elite professionals that have come together for one purpose: to help enhance someone great to become greater.
Jeff Bain is the founder and general manager of Leadership Logistics LLC. For more information, please visit their website at leadershiplogisticsllc.com.
Pulaski Citizen Live is doing Giles County sports and community events like they've never been done before. Video of local government meetings and community events, as well as streaming of high school, middle school, and youth league games. Football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, and more are all on the PCL schedule throughout the year. Get your game called by the most recognized sports announcers in Giles County. So are you looking for your next meeting, event, or game? Make sure you tune in to Pulaski Citizen Live on YouTube and on the Mixler app. All right, boys and girls, for those that were watching during the commercial break, we did not get to play rock, paper, scissors like we had hoped. Instead, we just decided, we said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and bring up the Scout Team Player of the Week. And it's our honor right here on the Bobcat Coaches Show, presented each and every single Wednesday night by Leadership Logistics, LLC, to present our Scout Team Player of the Week to our good friend, Mr. W.T. Eddy. W.T., give us some love right there. Our second freshman winner of the year, Damon Turner, winning it just last week. And W.T., how are you, my friend? Welcome. You're making your YouTube debut this evening alongside Coach Kirk just a moment ago.
I'm doing good. We've had us a good day of practice today. I'd say it was.
Bring it just a little closer. There you go, my friend.
My first time using a microphone.
There we go. We're breaking barriers here. Good week of practice. Good day of practice.
We've, like they've been saying, we've had a pretty good week of practice. We've all been ready for this game Friday. We know it's going to be, as OC said earlier, a 48-minute battle. We all know it's not going to be a half game, 30 points. We know we ain't going to be winning by 30 points in the first half. And we've been preparing for it. We know it ain't going to be no easy game and that we're going to have to hit them in the mouth.
Absolutely.
As the wizard over there always says, first 4 plays, if we set it good, we'll win it good. But we slow down in the first 4, they'll give it to us.
Okay, now I had not heard that, but that does sound like a Coach Kirkism over there, and he's been known to drop some knowledge. Hey, WT, I want to real quickly get ready to give you a couple shout-outs here. First of all, congratulations on winning the Scout Team Player of the Week. Tell us a little bit about how your role on the Scout team in particular. Coach has talked about this award as maybe the most important award that we can hand out, because if you guys can't give a clean look for what the other team is going to do, we really don't have much of a game plan to go off the other teams. So how are you embracing that role this season?
Well, I give it my all because I know they're going to give it their all when we face them. Now, it's always something trying to mimic another team, because there's sometimes that you think, man, are they really going to do that? Or, man, I never looked at it like that. And there's always the, man, they line it up like this, we line it up like this, just trying to figure out where I need to be and all that. And I think it's the same for all of us on it. Which, one of the things I've always learned is, if you can know how your opponent's going to play, you know what you need to do with it. So it's always good to learn how it is, and that's why for this year, I never really thought about Scout Team, but it has proved to me it is very important.
There's no doubt about it, and considering how tough opponents that you guys are playing, it is extremely important this season to get those guys some good looks. And before we get you out of here, last question, I did want to ask you about your South Giles Eagles. They're playing great. Coach Nave, we see him in his We see him in his Eagles gear on Tuesday nights coaching, but we also see him on Friday nights wearing that orange checkerboard jumpsuit on the chain gang there. He does a great job running the 1st and 10 markers for us. But also you wanted to give some shout-outs to some folks in Minor Hill, including a young lady that might be excited to see you on this program tonight.
My mother, Angie Eddy, the RTI coordinator of Minor Hill, and all of the coaches over there that truly I started playing football in 7th grade, and I never truly would have thought I would have played it. But they pushed me to do it, and they tried pushing me till I guess you could say till I broke. And they kept me, and it's, as I've already said, if it wasn't, I guess you could say, heritage of it,
yeah,
I would not be able to do as much, because as they've already mentioned, Amari and Hill, it takes a whole lot to be able to put up with them.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt, physically and mentally, I'm assuming, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. WT, congratulations, my friend, and we look forward to hearing and calling your name a whole lot more in the future. Congrats again. That is a truly special award. That is yours to keep from the folks at Leadership Logistics, LLC. We'll see you soon, all right, brother?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. WT Eddy, your scout team player of the week, and Chase Gardner is going to join us here as our special teams player of the week. WT representing the South GIles, as Chase is going to come on up here. And we're going to – Chase's food has also just arrived, so we'll try and – I know he's on a busy schedule here, so we'll try and get him in and out. How are you, my friend? You doing all right?
I'm doing good. Pretty how about you?
We cannot complain. Chase, I've got a piece of hardware for you as well. This is you don't know Jeff Bain by chance, do you?
I do know Jeff Bain good.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll let you just take this and just know that he made that for you, and you can think about that however you want to think about it. I know you and him got a bit of a weird relationship there, right? But I tell you what, Jeff is obviously excited to follow your career. We've all been excited to follow your career. And I guess the question is, when did you decide that you wanted to pursue kicking and punting kind of as your role? We know obviously how great you are of a soccer player, but now you've really kind of embraced the gridiron.
My parents just got me into it. They were like, oh, try this. So I just went out there one day, and then I know they don't do much like at practice. Like OC sometimes lets me go home when I'm not doing nothing. So I do that, and it's pretty easy. And like my parents like wanted me to do it, and they thought it would be a good idea for me since I was a good soccer player.
Now, I saw your mom on the square today. I was getting ready to go to lunch, and we were kind of hyping you up a little bit. She said she'll be tuning in. She said she's bringing her AirPods. She's going to listen to the game and watch you on Friday night. I want to talk to you about kind of your overall play, in particular your kickoff game. We've been leaving a few shy, but last week you booted some deep in the end zone. Does anything change, or do you try and just keep everything the same when you're referring to kickoffs?
Most time, though, like the football, sometimes they're flat, and I had to air one up for myself, and then I just got to make sure the ref checks it. Because every time it's either been one ball I had was illegal because the stuff was falling off of it, and they had to mark them. And I try to just air up a ball as hard as I can. That just really gets it in the end zone good.
Absolutely. And so we've talked a little bit about the kickoff game. Obviously, we know that you're pretty crafty when it comes to the onside kicks as well. What goes through your mind when Coach gives you the kind of the wink-wink or the head nod saying, hey, we're going to run it onside here?
I'm just like, oh, gosh, here we go again. They're either going to tackle me or I got to get the ball.
And you do a great job usually of leaving it up there for one of your guys to go up and make a big play. And as we've kind of gone throughout the season here, we'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room. We've gotten everybody else's version of the story but yours. You see the return man coming at you last week at the 50. And I had faith in you, brother. I said he's going for the hit stick right here. He's played some Madden in the day. Walk us through the big tackle that you tried to make. We know that knee was down whether the official called it or not, right?
Oh, yeah. I was going to hit him hard, and then I was like, oh, no, this is not going to go good. So I just had to back up and stick my foot and go into it. I thought he was down. He rolled over me. I had to jump back up and run after him again. And then luckily Slim Shady got him down at the
Hang on now. Is Eminem on the team? Who are you referring to here?
Dakota.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure here. Okay.
Dakota Jackson, yep.
Yeah, he kind of mops up your duty there.
Oh, yeah. I was scared at first, and then I had to just build it up and then just get into it.
Yeah, it was a solid effort. Like I said, we knew we had your back. We knew that he should have been called down by contact. I'll tell you who really had your back, though. I got about 5 text messages from Bobcat soccer coach Matthew Ogeron. and I really can't repeat some of them on air because he said he was. Let's just say he was animated that it should have been a tackle, right?
Yeah. He's a big fan of mine. He's been with me through it all. So
we're excited to have you win our Special Teams Player of the Week award. Talk to us a little bit real quick about your punting. You've already had a couple down inside the 20, had a few down inside the 10, and one of those big kicks last week. How critical is it for you to pin those players deep because your defense is so strong, and we saw a safety last week as a result of one of those?
I just got to pin them deep so they can. I got to kick them high so they get to it and they can knock them down right there. And, if it's like in the end zone, it's going to touch back. They got the 20, but if I pin it down at the 10, it's a less chance for them to score.
Ain't no doubt. And you kind of do that rugby rollout as opposed to the traditional. Is that your preference, or is that kind of what the coaches kind of got you going?
I just do whatever's best for me. Like if I have to do the rugby run out, and then if I see the blocks, I got to run for it. Got to run for the first down.
I was just getting ready to say, at some point this season, I feel like you roll out on that rugby and you're going to see something, you're going to take off. That's what you're telling us here?
Yes, sir. I was going to run out, but we didn't punt at Grundy, thankfully. Mm-hmm. But I was going to do.
Is that something that it's your call 100%?
Yep. I just got to make sure I see the blocks, and then I'm good.
So if you get the first down, you get all the glory. If you get stopped a little shy, what's Coach saying to you on the sideline?
They're chewing my butt out.
Okay. Well, as long as you can deal with the consequences, I guess it's okay. Final piece of the puzzle here. We haven't seen you attempt a field goal this year. Some other people might be watching this from other teams. We don't want to maybe give away your total range, but I feel like you're pretty confident from 40 and inside for sure, and we've seen that. How would you assess your field goal game at the moment?
It's pretty good. I've been doing good at practice. I just gotta get the velocity good, and I'll be good.
Perfect, man. Well, we love seeing you boot them over to the concession stands at Sam Davis Park, and we look forward to a great all-around special teams. Hopefully we won't have to call you on the tackle on Friday night. Hopefully you're kicking them either in the zone or the guys are making the tackles for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Chase Carter, thank you so very much. Congratulations on your Leadership Logistics Special Teams Player of the Week. Honestly, we could probably give this to you every week, but we've kind of been spreading the love, so don't hold that against us, okay?
I know. I get it.
Okay, all right. So thank you to Chase Carter. He's our Special Teams Player of the Week. He's a junior Bobcat punter. He's a great soccer player. He's a great young man and a great representative for the Bobcat football team. Final segment is coming up. It's going to be a real quick segment here with Bobcats head coach David O'Connor, and we will wrap up what has been a fun coaches show right here at Kitchen 218. We're brought to you each and every single week by Leadership Logistics, LLC.
Companies enhance their brand while growing their business, as well as providing career development for young professionals. Whether it is a project or a career, professional guidance is valuable. We are experienced professionals providing fresh eyes and proven approaches geared to show you how to achieve your personal and professional goals. Regardless of your goals, success does not just happen. It is a byproduct of the people you surround yourself with and the guidance that is given to you. Successful strategies are not found in silos. They are found within professional networks. We can help you. Leadership Logistics, LLC is an agency of elite professionals that have come together for one purpose, to help enhance someone great to become greater.
Jeff Bain is the founder and general manager of Leadership Logistics, LLC. For more information, please visit their website at leadershiplogisticsllc.com.
Real quick, we're back here. Time has absolutely been flying by here on the Bobcat Coaches Show, presented by Leadership Logistics, LLC. David O'Connor has returned. And, Coach, been a fun show. I was thrilled to hear from WT and Chase Carton. It's always good to talk to WT. He was representing the South Giles Eagles. Well, they roughed up on your Flintville Bobcats last night at the Brickyard.
That's right. I am a former Flintville Bobcat, and it was kind of rough to hear, but I'm really proud of the South Giles guys for doing what they did.
Absolutely. And we've seen some of those South Giles kids, ascend the ranks. A guy like Alden Staggs last year, absolutely one of the best players.
Matthew Gingrich.
Some great players that have come through the ranks.
Jason Rose. There's been some
we can rattle
Sam
those.
Edgman back in the day,
I was going to say, that's just in recent memory. Sam Edgman, one of the all-time greats, no doubt about it. And speaking of going back in history, you kind of got to go back in history a while to see a Franklin County team that's had this much buzz, this much excitement. Why are they so dangerous this year?
They are dangerous because of those. I guess it all builds around those two twin brothers, the Holman brothers. Those two guys are super athletes. They got 5 or 6 of their friends, I guess, that came out and playing with them. And I'm telling you, those guys can flat play.
If we had to stack them up, how do they compare good, bad, or indifferent versus Nolensville? Really, the only other I guess Lincoln County also, our other 5A competition we play.
I would say Lincoln County, they're faster than Nolensville. They don't have quite as many, but their top athletes are probably better.
So it'll be a fun matchup. Giles County does jump up in two weight classes. How you like that? Kind of like an old school boxing reference
exactly
there.
Right.
And we're going to jump up to 5A. Got to go on the road. For those that are on the fence, it is a nice facility, brand new school, relatively new school at least. And they always take great care of us. We've talked about how dangerous they are, though. But what would you like to see the Cats improve on? They got a huge win last week versus Grundy County, but what do they need to improve on this week to get another big win?
I think we just got to become – and week in, week out, slowly got to keep getting more and more consistent on executing our plays, play in and play out. You know, it's one thing to go out and make one big play, but you go out and make one big play and two bad plays. That's no good. You can't win games like that. So we've got to become more in depth at just completing a full game consistently of making good plays. You know, the team that has the most people execute a play on any given play is who's going to win that play. Mm-hmm. And then when you got to put a bunch of series of plays together, if you're going to win a series, and then if you're going to win a game.
Okay, you kind of just blew my brain with that right there, but I like it. So I appreciate you've been hanging out with Coach Kirk a lot.
Some of his philosophies got back to me. He's got those guys over there. I'm not sure what he's telling them over there when he's got those old linemen, but I'm sure it's something like that.
I would love to hear what really goes on behind closed doors there. Coach, as our time runs thin here, we do want to ask you, obviously a big game on the road Friday night. What would you we've kind of touched on it a little bit. What would you like to see your defense? How does the defense try and slow down those Holman brothers?
Well, here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do a good job of matching those two guys and knowing where they are on the field. A lot of our defense is getting our guys to line up correctly, and then being able to identify where those guys are that make plays. And a lot of things they do now, that their formations kind of give a little bit away what they're going to do, and where they line up certain people by formations kind of gives a little bit away of what they will possibly do. So we got to identify where those guys are, and then we're going to have to run with them.
And on the flip side, offensively, Cats played a pretty good game last week. Saw 3 passing touchdowns, saw 4 rushing touchdowns. How do the Cats build on that offensive momentum?
Here's what we're going to have to do. This week, our offensive line has got to be able to identify the stunts and the movements that they do. And we've looked at them all week. So we got guys over there holding up books, with pictures on them, so we can kind of see how in our scout team we got to be able to identify those and pick up those blocks. If our O-line does well, we'll do well.
I like that. I like the breakdown, but I do got to ask you yet again, what must the Cats do on Friday night if they want to get a win at Franklin County?
We're going to have to keep them out of the end zone. We're going to have to try to get there more than them. But at the end of the day, if we can score one more point, we'll win.
It makes sense. Somehow all that makes sense each and every single week, Coach. We are so excited to have you with us every Friday. I try and get
Wade, you're a nut.
I love it. There we go. There's the reaction. I got a little chuckle out of Coach Kirk earlier, too, let the record show with the YouTube comment.
He don't laugh very often.
He does not. So, Coach, we know it's going to be a tough game on Friday, but we know the Cats are going to be up for it, and we know the Bobcat Nation will travel well.
Always does. Our 12th man is always as good there, or as good as anybody we play. So we went to Knowles. They had a huge crowd. Our crowd was just as good. So I'm excited about going on the road to Franklin County and kind of bringing a little bit of Bobcat football their way.
Ain't no doubt about it. We'll see you on Friday night, partner.
Appreciate it, Wade.
Thank you for all your time. That is Bobcats head coach David O'Connor, and that concludes our Coaches Show, brought to you each and every single week by the fine folks at Leadership Logistics. I'm Wade Neely saying so long. Tomorrow night we will have a special Richland Coaches Show. We do want to give a shout-out to Soda Pop Junction, but we will have to change venues tomorrow because Nick Patterson and the Junior Raiders have rescheduled their middle school game. So we're going to do our Coaches Show pregame before the middle school game tomorrow. Should be fun, should be exciting. I'll be filling in tomorrow. We do want to give a shout-out to Mark and Bethany Mize, welcoming in their newborn to the world this morning. Congrats to Mark and Bethany. Mark will be off tomorrow night. Cody will be off as well, and yours truly will be filling in. And then Friday night, Cody and Cole Derryberry on the call for the Richland Raiders heading up to Hickman County. And Chris Bledsoe will rejoin us as the Bobcats travel to Franklin County. That's all the time we've got. This has been the Coaches Show, Bobcat Coaches Show, brought to you each and every single week by the fine folks at Leadership Logistics, LLC. Enjoy your Wednesday night. We'll see you next time here from Kitchen 218. Good night.